All right. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to this masterclass, Sovereign and Solid. I'm so honored to be here with you sharing this discussion. I'd love to hear who's here. You can, if you would like, share your name, where you're coming from, who's in the space, so I can say hi, hello. I hope the comment, oh, nice, wonderful. The comments are coming in. Hi, Eva. So good to feel you. I see your picture here. Amazing. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a moment. Hey, Rosemary. Oh, so wonderful. I'm so happy you're here. Okay. So we're going to dive in now. For those who are here live, and also for those watching the recording, and for those who this might be your first time in this space with me, Marisol, wonderful, hello, love. My name is Ashley Seymour, and I'm a Holy Fire Reiki Master, a multidimensional ceremonialist, and channel for the Divine Feminine Awakening that's happening on Earth right now. My mission on Earth is to support other women in remembering their divine mission through reclaiming their priestess path of service, their innate gifts, their power, and their intuition. So this conversation today is just I feel so excited to bring this forward because as I was diving more into this discussion and tuning into what sovereignty and solid means, especially on the path of awakening our divine feminine presence, it feels so important to bring this understanding of the divine masculine essence. Now, in many of my mentorships, I will of course discuss both of the balance of the masculine and feminine energy, but a lot of the conversations that I share is about the reawakening of the divine feminine. And this is such an important conversation. And in order for this to really anchor in, to really become embodied, it's about understanding what it means to work with the divine masculine energy to actually allow the feminine energy to bloom. When I think of what this looks like if we just think of this on an energetic level, when the woman power and feminine essence it's like a direct portal to the divine creative force. And because women generally embody more of the depths of the connection to the feminine essence, we of course have both. Men and women both have a balance between masculine and feminine energetics. It's subtly different for men and subtly different for women. And for women, especially being in this female body, there's been so much suppression around the feminine energy for thousands and thousands of years. So what we're reclaiming is this remembrance of who we are, what it means to be woman, what it means to be in our power, not from the masculine power paradigm, but from the feminine power paradigm. And what does that feel like really in our body as women? And when I tune into it, it's really like the vision I oftentimes see, like what am I saying when I say like to anchor in the masculine, the feminine's going to feel more safe to bloom. If you tune into the depths of power, it's it's going within. It's going within to expand. It's tuning out. So it's this, we have to feel completely safe to tap into our feminine presence. We have to feel relaxed and open and in our space of receptivity. In order to be in the feminine, we have to let go of all control and to really trust. And when we have an intact masculine energy, there is this sense of profound protection, profound anchoring, and profound safety within our own power and within our relationship to the divine. And this does play out on the physical level in the human body. And it's it's in ancient ritual times, women would come together performing the magic in the circle by the fire, and men held the space in the outer circles, holding the safety, holding the container, creating that sanctity and safety of space for the magic and the power of the feminine to completely flow, to unravel, to ripen, to bloom. So this is what I'm energetically tuning into and feeding into when I say that when we have an intact masculine, the true power, magnetism, and magic of the feminine can bloom within us. And this really leads us into the conversation of sovereignty and what it means to be solid. Jessica, Jess, hey, I'm so glad you're here. So this conversation, like I said, so important. And because the feminine wisdom is awakening within us all, it really is a time of profound divine feminine awakening. A lot of the amnesia of what it means to be in our feminine power is awakening. But if we're awakening the divine feminine, but still have this really toxic patriarchal energy within masculine energy within our body, there's continuously going to be a level of suppression. Or we're going to the feminine will only be able to bloom to a certain capacity, or the feminine will bloom and then will kind of self-destruct it because there won't really be space for the feminine continue to nourish and flow. And there's so much depth and wisdom to what it means to work with the feminine essence and feminine wisdom. And we need that wisdom to actually lead our divine mission, to actually really do what we came here to do. And that takes both the blooming of our creativity, our magnetism, our feminine power, with that understanding of what it means to be anchored in ourself, to the frequency of certainty, to trust that next most aligned step. Okay. So I just wanted to give a couple examples of what I'm talking about with what happens when we start, a lot of us are feeling that sense of, okay, the feminine is blooming. What does it mean to live the way of the feminine? What does it mean to connect with the feminine energetics? It's waking up within our codes. But again, we have to address where it is that still the overarching toxic masculine energy is still within our body, our consciousness, because the toxic masculine traits has been infused in our culture since we were young, throughout school and our lifetimes, the work, like the scheduling, the hours, the limitation, the constructs of time, all of this, it's basically limitation. And also trying to do everything with our mind instead of really trusting our heart and soul. But when we're accessing the feminine, so if you go and reclaim this inherent feminine power, you start walking down this path of like, all right, I'm ready to, like you're feeling it blooming. You start tapping into the depths of like your emotional capacity, your emotional integrity. You start tuning into the wisdom of your heart. You start loving your body, learning to relax into life and receive. Like these are all aspects of the feminine awakening within us. But if you still have these toxic masculine paradigms of sacrifice and suffer, so feeling like you have to sacrifice a part of you in order to gain, or that in order to grow and learn, there needs to be suffering. So this is an old paradigm that is dying, but it's part of this toxic masculine overculture that we've been in for thousands of years. Then even though you're activating your feminine power, you still may use that power to manipulate in a really subtle way, because you're in this ideology of lack and limitation. Whenever we have this idea that we have to sacrifice something, it's coming from the context and the paradigm that in order to gain, we have to lose. And this isn't the way of the feminine. The way of the feminine is abundance, is flow. It's like open channels of receptivity, open channels of giving. There's enough for everyone. There's harmony all together. But when you start tapping into the feminine, you start feeling that power. If you start awakening it, but don't actually have that like real safe, intact, divine masculine energy, you might start using that energy to think you need to manipulate to get what you want. Or that there's some, it's like, or taking from others to receive. You might see yourself less than others. You might see yourself as better than others. Like there also gets to be this comparison energy. Another example is you can embody the divine feminine magnetic potential. But if you don't have a healed masculine, you will fall into control, lack of trust, and trying to force an outcome you desire to create. One of the deepest wisdoms of feminine energy is the magic and potency of desire. And I think this is such a beautiful code that we are reclaiming as women, as how sacred desire is. Because desire has been demonized for so long. But yet desire is literally the essence of our magnetism, of our creative potential, of our kundalini energy, of our returning to source. Like desire is the desire to create. It's such a pure energy. And so we're starting to reclaim the desires, like starting to expand into what it is we want and to create and to bring forth into the world. And we have all of this. And then there's this sense of, well, it's not happening, or it didn't happen as soon as I wanted, or I need to control this. It needs to happen this way. We get really into the masculine energy of wanting to control and force the outcomes. And this will limit and diminish the inherent wisdom, intelligence, and divine power of your feminine energy. So on the path of our divine mission, there really needs to be another way. And it's through working with the divine masculine energy through the presence of sovereignty and solid foundation. And so by the end of this conversation, I really hope that you have this deep sense of what it feels like to let the feminine lead in a way that feels really safe. And the only way the feminine can lead is if our masculine energetics is intact. If the masculine energetics is not intact, the masculine will want to override the feminine always. And that's when we start trying to control. We get into our mind. We want to know the answers. We want to figure out how everything's going to work out instead of relaxing and receiving. The feminine isn't just this energy of like soft relaxation and just expecting everything to come in a certain time. The feminine can lead. The feminine is a very powerful leadership energy, but she can only lead. That inner feminine power through heart, through inner wisdom, through creative force can lead when the masculine is intact and there's a sense of profound safety and connection to self and truth. So this conversation today is really important for me, and I hope for you. And I hope you can bring this into so many aspects of your life and start thinking about how you actually want to navigate your life forward, your divine mission. Are you letting this really guide you? Are you letting the feminine lead? And from a place of divine masculine safety. But we can see it also in the dynamics of life. When a male does not feel safe from a woman's power, he will want to put her down. And this is what's been happening for thousands and thousands of years. Men feared women's power because they weren't connected to their divine masculine energy. And this led to the demonization of women's power. But we've been doing this to ourselves. So now we're rewriting the story. We're returning to what it means within us to allow the feminine flow to move through our life while having a grounded and intact divine masculine essence. Okay. So yeah, Jess shares going through this so much, wanting to know everything and controlling and trying to find the safety. Yeah. And I'm sure so many people relate to this. And this is why this conversation is so important, because I know so many women. I mean, I speak to women daily. And like, I just have the honor to hear women's dreams and the desires and what they want to create and their missions and their light in the world. And it's like, I believe in you. I believe in me. I believe in all of us, but we each need to believe in ourselves. It's the only way this is going to change. And so if we do not trust ourselves and trust our relationship to the divine and feel deeply connected to our divine masculine energy, feeling safe within ourselves, we're always going to default to the toxic masculine traits. because the feminine won't feel safe to lead, but the feminine is where our creative power is, where our desire is. It's what's going to channel, be the oracle for the new earth, for the systems that are coming through, the new paradigms, the schooling systems, health systems, everything that's recreating on earth and higher light dynamics is here. Is going to come through, but we have to allow ourselves to step out of our limited mind, which is the toxic masculine energy trying to control, and into our divine feminine power. Okay, so if you are here, I trust, and I just wanted to be really clear about, I always like to be really clear about who is showing up into these spaces, because it feels important that you know why you're here, I know why you're here, and we're having this deep heart-to-heart connection. We can go deep together. So you know you're here because you desire to lead yourselves, like to really step into what it means to lead yourself and to take divinely aligned action in your life and in your mission. You may desire to understand a little bit more also about what that looks like, what your mission is. You might have a sense, a knowing, and of course our divine mission isn't just a golden star that you at some point attain, and it's an ongoing expansion. The more you say yes, the more the divine comes through you and says, okay, yes, and next step, and next step, and next step. It's a co-creation of your divine mission. The more willing you are, the more will come through you. And it's not that there's a race, it's just your pure desire. Okay, so you're also here because you want to cultivate the frequency of certainty so that you can trust the void and the unknown. This is so important. And I'm going to get much more deeper into this piece here towards the end of this discussion, because the frequency of certainty, there's a lot to it. There's some misconception around it, and you could think of it in a way that's actually not serving our highest good. So there's some subtleties that I want to speak on about it. But you want to cultivate this frequency of certainty so that you can trust the void, the unknown, which is the feminine and magic at play. There's so much we don't know. There's so much magic to create, so many things to unfold in our life and even more beauty than we can possibly imagine. But we have to trust in the unknown and the void. And trusting in this while also not doubting if what we desire is for us. Because the minute the doubt comes in, we begin to wobble on that clear, receptive channel. That channel that says, I am here, I am receiving, I know it is coming. My channel is always open. But the minute we doubt, it's like we close off our channels. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I need to shift my dream and my desire. Maybe that's not for me because it's not happening. So it's holding the frequency of certainty so you can really become this very powerful channel. Okay, you're also here because you want to create a life of high frequency spiritual alignment, joy, fulfillment, pleasure, and freedom. This is so important. High frequency spiritual alignment. This is the foundation of any offerings I'm doing, is how are we heightening our frequency to a higher potential? Meaning, how are we shifting into alignment? Well, alignment with what? Alignment with our higher self. What is that? The higher self is the ascended aspect of us. It is one who is always, it is that part of us that's always one with the divine. That part of us that is so wise, so connected. We always have access to her. How are we aligning with her? What practices, what wisdom, what meditations, like what are we doing to align with that? And I really believe that when I hold these conversations, that's what we're doing here. When I hold these masterclasses, any of my mentorships, it's shifting into higher spiritual frequency. And through that, actually being able to bring forward the codes of joy, fulfillment, pleasure, and freedom. This, I feel, is like the essence of what we truly desire and want, is how can I experience more joy? Like deep, deep joy, not just like the word joy, but like this profound feeling of joy that just gets better and more rich and ripe throughout life. Okay, you're also here because you desire to reclaim your power. And the reclamation of power is an ongoing journey. I am continuously deepening every year, every month, sometimes even every week, every day, of what it means to deepen into the reclamation of my power. And I'll speak a little bit more about this when we talk about sovereignty, okay? Because this is sovereignty is a big part of today's discussion. Okay, so reclaiming our power and innate intuitive trust in self and the divine. So having that deep sense of I can trust myself, and I can trust in the divine, the God, the source, whatever that is. All right, So if that aligns with you, then you're here in the right place. And we're gonna go deep now, and a real deep conversation about sovereignty and about what it is we're doing here in our divine mission. Okay, so let's dive in. All right, so sovereignty. To be self-sovereign means that no one and nothing has power over you. No one and nothing has power over you. That is a choice you make. It's not about what someone else does. It actually has nothing to do with anyone else's actions. It's not expecting someone to respect you. It's not expecting someone to treat you a certain way. It's not expecting someone to like you. It has nothing to do with anyone but you. And that's why you can be in your whole power. Because if we are living our life based on anyone else's reactions, responses, or actions towards us, we're always going to be in a state of depletion of power. And it's just recognizing that on this journey of sovereignty, that if we are affected some way by someone else's perceptions, actions to us, or expect someone to act a certain way for us to feel a certain way, then we are in some unhealthy power dynamic. So this meaning of self-sovereign goes far beyond the physical world. It's not just about how someone treats you in this 3D world. It's speaking about your soul. So the journey of sovereignty is coming to know yourself as soul, as one with the divine. Coming to know that deep sense of whatever is happening here on the earth is so profound and beautiful and meaningful, and we chose this. And it's intense, and the human emotions are wild, and it's a crazy journey. But within our soul, we are always one with the divine, and nothing and no one can ever change that. Nothing and no one ever has power over our own soul. So when we're coming into this journey of self-sovereignty, we're aligning ourselves, instead of just with our human experience, we're aligning ourselves with the eternal soul and recognizing that is our truth. That is our power. So to be truly sovereign is really to know yourself as eternally one with the divine, and that who you are can never be taken from you. In this consciousness, you are free, completely free. You are not attached to certain identities. You're not attached to how people perceive you. You're not attached to whether you fail or succeed. But it doesn't mean you're this numb being going throughout life. No, you actually become more alive, so much more free to live, to experience, to find joy, fulfillment. You have courage and trust, and you take responsibility for this life because you realize the magic of it and the miracle of it. But yet you can recognize that you can never be lost because you are always one with the divine. So we really need in this world sovereign leaders. So especially if you're here in this call and you feel this desire to want to truly be able to lead yourself, to feel this sense of, I can lead myself in my life, I can lead others. And what does it mean to lead? It means being able to respond to life when maybe others would shut down or not know how to respond. And this doesn't mean you need to know how to respond and lead in every aspect of life. But there are certain aspects of your life that you are already confident in, courageous in. There's a passion there and a desire there. And then the next level of it is a willingness to say, I can actually lead here. We need leaders. I think so oftentimes we can say, well, someone else is already doing it. This person's already doing it. That person already has been doing it for a while, or they already have a larger voice, or they say it better than me, or whatever the story is, but no one is you. And we need more leaders. And this, when I say leaders, this doesn't mean that you're better than anybody. It just means you get to be in a space of sharing frequency, wisdom, space holding. This is so important. Because even myself, I love to lead in many ways, but there's many ways where I want to be guided. I don't want to lead all the time in my life. Sometimes I want to relax and sit back and be guided. And I know that's true for you as well. But when we have a calling and a desire to show up a certain way, but we discount that because we say someone else is doing it, someone else is already there, we're really diminishing our voice and our power. And we're not trusting in our gifts and mission. And if you feel at your heart and your soul that you have some beauty to share with the world, you really have this message and this meaning and this healing vision for the world, you're going to need to step up into certain aspects of leading yourself. When you can lead yourself, you can then lead others, and you become a greater channel for the divine to move through you. So we need sovereign leaders, because when one is on the journey of embodied sovereignty, yeah, Eva, I'm so grateful that you shared that. I think, who am I to jump in here? There are already so many voices out there. Is mine really needed? Yes. Who else has had this thought? Just write I have if you had this thought in the comments. And so this is such an important message, because it's not about the words. It's not even always about exactly what it is you're saying. It is about, oh, hi Shania. Yep. It's not about the words. It's not about the topic. It's none of that. It is you and your frequency and your desire. Your desire to share what is important to you is so meaningful. What happens when you turn down what is actually meaningful and important, like meaningful to you, that desire for you to share something, and you turn that down? That's basically saying to your soul, I'm not going to listen to my passion desires. I'm not going to follow through with what I feel is important to speak. It closes down our sacral, it closes down our voice, it closes down our heart. It has nothing to do with what's going on around you. It's you saying, this is moving through me, and I have a responsibility to honor that. And we get caught up with then how is it going to be received? Or like, somebody's already saying it better than me. Someone else, like, people have already heard this. People don't really need this. Like, is it really that meaningful? So one is really understanding that when you disconnect from your authentic desires, that desire to want to create, to speak, to share, to lead, you diminish more of your power. You diminish more of your creative power. You diminish what is moving through you. And it's so important to keep that energy flowing, because that is you. That is so important to speak forward. And the second part of it is that it's so beyond what others have done, what others have said. It's about your frequency. It's about your energy, about who you are, that people connect to. It is about your heart. It is your passion. It's all frequency. That's what people are connected to. And you just have to trust that your message, that passion, that desire, that creativity is moving through you for a reason. You might know it and you might not, but can you trust it? Can you trust that God is guiding you? Can you trust that the divine is moving through you? That passion, that desire is so important to birth in the world and to bring it forward. And when you say, nope, and somebody's already done it, you diminish that creative channel immediately. And that's going to prevent more messages coming through, more desires. We start diminishing the wheel. And so it's recognizing just how important your message is, your creative power, your desire. Like letting go of how you think people are going to perceive it and saying, this is moving through me for a reason. Not only do I desire to bring this forward, it may just touch one person. And if it even touched one person, how beautiful. Like, how magical, how meaningful. I don't even think we realize how much we touch people's lives just by being who we are. So, okay. Yeah, Jessica shares, my question is, what do I want to share? And how does it come from truth? Yeah, so this is deepening into understanding what is my authentic voice, and also what is moving through me. What is that deepest desire coming through? Okay. So when on the journey of embodied sovereignty, as sovereign leaders, you're consciously choosing to live life in alignment with your authentic self and innate power. This is like an ongoing complex journey. So just give me a moment. I want to piece this a little bit more together. When you're in this space of leading through alignment with your authentic self, your higher self, like alignment with the divine, your authentic desires, your innate power, like you have this sense, this knowing, this truth. You don't need to know all of it, and you don't have to have all the answers, but there's this cultivation of knowing yourself. Okay? Then you cannot be manipulated. And you never devalue yourself, regardless of other people's opinions. This is the power of sovereignty. This is the power of knowing yourself. It's like you don't get so much in your head about, is someone going to receive this? Or someone's already spoken this. How can I quote unquote say this better? It has nothing to do with that. You say, this is moving through me. And I want to articulate it or create it in the most beautiful, clearest way possible, because I know that that's what feels good for me. And also I want to be in highest service to others, and I trust it's going to reach exactly the person it is meant to reach. Okay, so sovereignty, and so it's really clearing beyond the, like, regardless of other people's opinions, you choose to take action, to live, to speak, regardless of how you think you're going to be perceived. And we only create stories in our head about how we're going to be perceived because it's our own stories about ourselves. When we think about how we're going to be perceived by others, it's just our own voice doubting ourselves. It's not even actually what people are thinking about us. And so when stepping into that sovereign leadership, it's saying, I hear that story, and that's actually not going to control me. I reclaim my power. Okay, that's one perspective I just thought of. I'm not going to let that control me, because this is moving through me, and I'm going to speak and share and create it. So sovereignty is so far beyond the ego, because therefore when a leader is committed to true sovereignty, they no longer need to be liked. There's no desire to be liked. But it doesn't mean you don't enjoy being liked. Of course, you're not going to walk into a place and walk into a room and be okay with upsetting everybody. But you don't need to be liked. You're not going to act in a way in order to receive that energy of being liked. You don't need to be understood by others. So therefore you can speak a lot more freely, knowing it's okay if you're not understood by everybody, because you trust that who you're meant to reach, teach, speak, and guide, like, they are going to find you, because it's a frequency, it's a transmission, it's an energetic connection. And you also don't need to be valued by anybody. You don't need that sense of being valued by anyone or anyone else. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate when there's like a value connection, when someone does value you, but you're not acting in a way to make sure that someone values you. And say you share a message, you put creative art out, whatever it might be, you share some expression that is authentic to you, and then someone comes to you and in the way they act, speak, respond, does not interact with you, you might say, this person doesn't value me the way that I thought initially valued myself. So that maybe I'm actually not that valuable. Maybe this is actually not that important to share. Like when you're in that space of sovereign leadership, that's not even a thought. It's just, it might be a thought, but it can just pass so quickly, because instead you say, you know what, this is so valuable to me. And I'm going to keep speaking and connecting and sharing, because I know that I will connect with the people that also find this valuable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so you act, you speak, you engage, and you step forward in your divine mission, because you don't need anything externally to fill yourself up. This is why sovereignty is so important. It is such a strong foundation. I hope you're starting to feel that energy of why sovereignty is such that powerful energy to allow your divine feminine energy to bloom. When you have that sense of sovereignty within yourself, you can keep the desires flowing. You can keep the creative work flowing. You can keep leading yourself, moving forward, regardless of how you think you're going to be perceived, how you think you're going to be valued, how you think you're going to be understood, whatever it might be. You say, no, I know this to be true. This is moving through me for a reason. This is an authentic desire. This is my purpose. This is my meaning. This is why I'm here. I'm stepping into it. And I'm going to keep moving forward because I know that I'm here for a reason. And I feel it in my bones, my body, my heart, everything. You don't let that doubt sink in. So they're really, when they're in this space of sovereignty, you're not trying to protect the ego in any way. As a sovereign leader, you're always going to be in integrity with divine values of truth. So you're really committed to that frequency of truth. Truth is actually, that can be different for everybody. There are some, I would say, like laws of the universe that is kind of more of a universal truth of how the laws of the universe works, but we also have individual truths of what is important and meaningful to us. And that's what I mean by that truth. There's this truth in your body of, I believe this to be true. And oftentimes we wait for other people in our lives to validate that, to then say, okay, I can actually claim this. This is safe to move forward with. I can do this. But that's not creating a solid foundation for your mission. So when actually stepping into your divine mission, it is us beginning to tune so deeply into yourself, saying, what is my truth? What is important to me? What is meaningful to me? And how am I choosing to claim that as truth for myself? Because I get to, because I choose to, because I feel it in my body, my bones, my heart. Okay, so you'll also be living with, there's this deep sense of also unconditional love. The heart can begin to open as you tap more into this sense of sovereignty, because again, you're not looking outside of yourselves for love, for connection, for resource. Like you find it within you. Whatever it is you're looking for outside of you, you know instantly, okay, my power is draining somewhere. Let me return back within. And again, this doesn't mean you don't actually receive validation, love, equal values, confirmations, like praise. It doesn't mean you don't receive any of that. You actually start receiving a lot more of that when you realize you don't actually need it, because you just start being a generational frequency for it for yourself. Like you generate it within. But what's happening is when you can generate this frequency of truth and certainty and power within, that's your foundation to then act, speak, and create from a place of solid grounding, solid foundation, solid knowing of self. You're not then going to try to speak. You're not going to change your message. You're not going to change how you think you need to. And it doesn't mean you're not going to evolve. You are going to evolve, grow, learn, expand. Like, you are so versatile. You're going to want to learn new skills. It doesn't mean you're just like stagnant. You're of course going to expand, but you're not going to change just because you feel inadequate. You're not going to change because you feel unworthy. You're not going to change because you feel unlovable. You're not going to shift because you feel like this, because those values, someone didn't see value in you, that you're not, and now not valuable. It's like, no, you have this deep sense of inner knowing of who you are, what you believe in, what your mission is, and you choose to believe it. And so the next question that kind of comes through is, well, what is that? How do I feel that deep sense of knowing what my mission is? How do I feel that deep sense of desire, of heart trust in myself? And this is really one of the deepest guidance that I will be sharing in my upcoming 6-month mentorship through Sovereign Priestess. Sovereign Priestess Activation is of course tapping into this divine masculine essence of sovereignty and solid foundation, but building it upon feeling this deep sense of knowing, this is what I desire. This is who I am. This is the divine moving through me. I trust in this. I trust in me. Like, building that deep sense of knowing yourself. without doubt, without uncertainty, like really trusting this is you, this is your power, this is your message. And then saying, okay, from that, I'm going to choose to share, create, and do. So it's like, it's tapping in when I'm speaking here about knowing yourself, knowing your divine desire, knowing your connection with God and the divine. This is divine feminine essence awakening within us. But to trust that is the sovereignty and solid foundation of the masculine essence, so that we can take action. We can lead ourselves in alignment with our divine feminine knowing of our power, of our gifts, of our mission, of God guiding us, of our authentic desires. And so in Sovereign Priestess Activation, this next 6-month journey starting on the equinox is about really awakening this depths of knowing within yourself. So you can feel like you can trust yourself to walk forward. So in this mentorship, you're really guided to rise into your divine mission, but with the foundation of this true sovereignty. Now, I summarized here just what some of the women who step into this Sovereign Priestess mentorship actually desire. And I think I went through just looking at what women have spoken about when they were stepping into this space and what their journey was of claiming yes to this journey. And I felt that it would be really like you'd feel this deeply in your body, because I know that we're all here together for this one reason, and it's really powerful what we're doing here right now on earth. This desire to actually be committed to the divine within us, to the passion within us, to the desire within us. That takes a special type of soul to truly be committed to this journey, because it takes so much courage to continue to trust in yourself without always the proof, the evidence around you. To say, no, this is my path, even if it doesn't make sense. That takes a special type of soul. And it's because you feel this deep sense of soul meaning, of fire, of purpose in you, and it cannot be ignored. I know this because I feel this in my body. Regardless of the amount of times we moved, our living situations, I know some of you know our stories. Having 3 kids in the last 5 years, there is a passion in my soul that I cannot turn away from. That's why I continuously will show up over and over. For myself, for my family, for my clients, and for the world. And I know you feel this because you are here. There's a deep meaning, purpose, and passion within you. And so the women who say yes to Sovereign Priestess, some of their desires is first and foremost freedom, unwavering trust in themselves, to create an authentically joyful and fulfilled life, embody their purpose and mission for this life, and in each moment, deep peace and joy, a deeper connection to the divine, their guides, their intuition, to do whatever it takes to be a channel for their mission, because they know they came here for a powerful reason. To come into deeper relationship with their womb, their sacred sexual energy, their kundalini energy, to break free from cycles of insecurity, to cultivate creative fire, passion, and become turned on with who they are and whatever they create, to have a prosperous, abundant, and financially free life, and to serve the highest good of all through their unique gifts and authentic self-expression. This is so beautiful. I get so tingly in my body just hearing about the desires of you women and the women that have stepped through this journey. This is powerful. And I just want you to put it in context. Not everybody thinks this way. Not everybody dreams as big. So many people diminish their authentic desires, these dreams of divine mission, for fear of disappointment. Because when you start dreaming so big, the other side of it is it could not happen. And instead of saying, it can't happen, so I'm just going to let go of potentially feeling that sadness, you say, you know what? I am a woman. I am sovereign. I can deal with disappointment because what I'm creating here is so much more important than any disappointment. And I just feel so honored to be able to support women in this journey. And I'm so passionate about it. So yes, Jess, the activations are weekly, and it's going to be starting the week of the 23rd. The survey is going to go out with a time for everybody to find a day that works out. And it's going to go from equinox to equinox, so 6-month journey, weekly connections, and everything is live. And so I'm going to spend some time at the end of this call. There's still some more just juicy connections I want to share about just the day of the week. Yeah, I'm going to send out a survey for the core group, and we find a day that works out. So I'm going to spend some time at the end of this call if this is something you have some more questions about, you want to hear about this, because I am officially launching it on the new moon tomorrow. So I will give an opportunity to answer your questions or go deeper into that in a moment, but there's still some more depth to this conversation that I want to get into. All right. So yeah, these desires and these desires are so authentic and meaningful. And through this journey, it's really about, through the Sovereign Priestess Activation, it's cultivating this personal power, this inner authority, and this certainty of self. I've been running this mentorship now for over 2 years, and every time I'm running it, it's a whole new level of activation. I am so committed to my growth and evolution on my own journey and path, so I can show up and serve better, because it fills me with joy to know myself and who I am. So I'm committed to being a vessel and channel for the divine at higher levels. So this mentorship is just growing and expanding every year. So I'm so excited for what is happening in this next journey. All right, so let's dive deeper into some more pieces of Sovereign and Solid. First piece is the frequency of certainty. When I think of this sense, okay, so just picture, what it is you're wanting to, just think of one thing you want to create. Like, what's that thing that's been on your mind that you're wanting to do, to create? Like that vision you have, that conversation you want to have, that trip you want to take, that program you want to launch, whatever it is. Okay, and you see it, you get excited about it. It's like, oh, this is like, I desire this. This is so beautiful. Yes. And then the next thought comes in. It's like, well, I don't have time for that. How is that going to happen? I don't know if that's possible. There's like nowhere I can fit this. Can I actually do it? Is this meaningful to others? Will other people receive it? The wobble starts to come in. So you had the initial, just like raw, God-given desire, like that passion, that fire, that desire within you. And then all of that energy coming in. So Eva, I have no idea how to do this. How to understand your desires, how to tap into the desires, or like, what do you want to create? Share with me a little bit more about that. So when we say like a desire is just like, what's moving through you? What do you desire? It doesn't even have to be more complicated than that. I think sometimes we were like, well, how do I know this is real and authentic? It's just because you desire it. It's a feeling, it comes through you, you see it, you create it. But then we have all of the doubts and uncertainties, and that's where the wobble comes in. How to actually create the dream and the desire. So first is the desire, and the dream is both co-creation with us and the divine. And what we mostly need to focus on is the desire. That's really where that powerful magnetic energy is going to come in. And then the frequency, that piece of control and lack of trust, that the info will come. Yes. So that's where that wobble starts to come in. And so this frequency of certainty started coming in over the past, I would say even in the last month, this like transmission of frequency of certainty. And I was like, okay, this is a whole new piece that I have never brought forward in a discussion before, in a mentorship before. That's why I said this is such one of the most important conversations that I had today, because it's bringing such a different context to what it is we're doing here. I started getting a whole different understanding of why there is this disconnection between what we desire and the outcome of it. And I realize it's this frequency of certainty that we're really needing to meditate on. And when we start having this welcoming in of the frequency of certainty, meditating on what that means for us, when you start feeling that energy of certainty, it dispels the wobbly energy of the how's this going to happen? I don't know. Is this for me? Can I do it? The insecurities, the lack mentality, all of that's like, no, I'm tuning into the I'm certain. It is here. I felt it in my body. It came within my mind. I feel it in my heart. I trust in it and I believe in it. What is the next most aligned action now? It's like you don't even give space and time to the energy of the wobble energy because you focus on the certainty. And so this is, I think we can get a little the word certainty can sometimes, it can be used in ways where we become rigid and immovable, like unable to actually adapt and change and to receive certain perspectives. Sometimes the idea of certainty can be like, well, if like you can be really certain of an opinion and not actually want to listen to someone else's opinions or thoughts. And this is where we, with the energy of certainty, we can actually lose out on learning, evolving, and growing. But this doesn't have to do with our projection of perspectives. We're focusing on the frequency of certainty, which is the certainty of our soul as one with the divine. It's the certainty of our magnetic power. It's the certainty of our divine feminine power. It's this certainty that we can create everything from nothing. And I realize that that might feel still a little intangible. These aspects of certainty I have been deepening into for years. And I do feel that there is, and this is something I'm going to be bringing very deeply into this next round of Sovereign Priestess, is how to understand the certainty of the intangible. The certainty of the divine feminine power. Certainty energy is a masculine energy, a divine masculine energy. And we can hold that frequency. It creates a solid foundation for the feminine to rise, the feminine to expand into the void. So when we can be certain in our mission, our desire, our path, we can really trust in the void. Meaning we have the desire, we have the vision, and there might be no evidence, proof for anything of it for a very long time, but we still are certain of it. We still trust in it. This takes so much courage, but it's so powerful when we start to actually feel it and trust it and allow God to move through us in this way, the divine to move through us in this way. So it's about holding our vision. Even if we can't fully see it, sometimes it's a desire, it's an emotion, it's an understanding, even in the unknown of it. That's that frequency of certainty. So we're seeing, it's focusing instead of using our mental energy to see limitation, lack, how's it going to happen, how we're unworthy, all of that. Instead of using the mental energy for that, we use our mind to continue to believe in what we desire, to continue to be a channel for the divine wisdom to flow through us. It's shifting mental power to lack and then shifting the mental power to the feminine energy, because there's this deep sense of I am certain it is all coming. I am certain I'm receiving just as I'm certain I'm giving. And it's so powerful just having that level. This doesn't mean that doubt doesn't come in. This doesn't mean that insecurities come in. This doesn't mean you wobble at times. It doesn't mean you can't be, you don't have to be perfect to be on this journey. We get to have all of the emotions as a human. But what's beautiful is when we have this frequency of certainty along with this reclamation of our sovereignty, we realize we have the power to choose. We realize that, okay, I am creating this in some way. I'm experiencing these human emotions. I'm experiencing this feeling of doubt and insecurity. How long do I choose to entertain this? How long do I choose to be here? Okay. Yep, I'm gonna sit with this doubt for some more time because that feels authentic and real. And there's some things I feel like my mind needs to go through in this. But then I'm gonna go back to my desire. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna believe in it. It's a choice to nurture the desire, the divine energy within you, your feminine power, And the more we cultivate your personal power, your inner authority, you get to realize you have that choice. So the next level of that, of how to start shifting more into the frequency of certainty, is the question of, how is this for me? This is such an empowering question to work with, to start working with this energy of certainty. Because what happens, we claim a desire, we have the vision, we have the dream, and then we think it's not working out because there's some situation that's proving it. Or we feel like we failed, or we're not where we thought we were supposed to be or wanted to be, or whatever it is. So we can create all these stories around, I'm not enough, I'm unworthy, this isn't going to happen, I should change my dreams, I'm not important. Like, all of these things can start coming up because we have this evidence or proof that what we desire is not actually coming to us based on our circumstances, the situation we're in. And instead, we shift immediately back into our power. We say, how is this for me? No matter how challenging the situation is, when you ask, how is this for me? You tap into the medicine, the wisdom, and the lesson there. You can actually find the value in that moment. And that's when you can shift into your power again immediately and begin to then focus, okay, I desire this. This is what I'm creating. This is important to me. This is meaningful. Yes, I choose this. And you keep moving forward. This is how you lead yourself. This is leaders leading themselves. Saying, how is this for me? No longer entertaining the victim. Why is this happening to me? That's the victim. How is this for me? This is sovereignty. This is self-ownership. It gives you the power of choice in each moment. You get to choose where you put your mind, where you put your thoughts. You get to choose how you respond to the emotions that are moving through you. Because we'll have the initial emotions. So say you're experiencing fear, right? Because you had a vision of, on going on this trip. And you had a vision that by the time the trip happened, you would have a certain amount of money saved, and it was going to, like, that was enough money for you to be able to go on that trip, and like, it was going to be comfortable. You're going to be able to do the things you wanted to do. You end up realizing before going on this trip that there's this huge expense you didn't realize you had to pay for. So all the money you had saved had to go to this expense. Then you start having fear, thinking like, oh my gosh, I might not be able to pay for this trip. I've already spent money on this ticket. Now I can't go do the things I actually want to do. I might have to cancel the friend that I decided to do this with. There's now anxiety and there's fear. And then you start having an emotional response based on the fear. Excuse me. I just swallowed a little fruit fly. So then you have these secondary emotions based on the fear, anxiety, and doubt that comes up. So the whole secondary story can be like, oh, I'm so bad on money. I really want to do this trip. Why is this happening to me? I thought I was going to be able to experience a sense of freedom. I was finally doing something for myself and it's not working out. Of course it didn't. So we can have all these stories based off our initial emotions. Instead, when you ask, how is this for me? Sure, you can still have the fear, the anxiety, the doubt, that lack mentality. But when you shift into how is this for me, say, okay, is this trip still possible? Is there actually something meaningful for me out of this? What is the message, the lesson? How can I build my emotional resilience? What is here for me if I stay? It's a total shift in perspective. And you start to come back into your power and start to continue to cultivate your desires instead of shaming yourself, thinking you're failing, and continuing to put yourself down based on challenging situations in your life. So this question of how is this for me is so powerful. Okay, and then last is the truth about embodying divine feminine energetics. So part of what's happening, of course, with anything, when we use words, everyone's going to have a different take or resonance with the words. So when we talk about feminine energy and feminine presence, almost everyone is going to have a different subtle representation of what that means for them. Almost everybody, based on what they've studied, what they know, their impressions, their background, their family, their culture, whatever it is. So when we just have this statement of reclaiming divine feminine wisdom, there's so many different perspectives and takes that can be perceived after that. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions about the awakening divine feminine wisdom is that we're not here to diminish and diminish the masculine. It's actually about both awakening the feminine and the masculine together, and also truly awakening the divine feminine is not just a soft, relaxed, vulnerable energy. Divine feminine power is literally the creative potential of the universe. It is the black void of unlimited potential. It holds so much creative power, and we as women have barely, hardly touched what is possible for us in our life through our bodies, through our feminine power. Feminine wisdom is meant to speak, to guide, to lead. True feminine wisdom awakens through the ability to actually have responsibility for your life, to truly lead your life. And responsibility means to actually be able to respond to life instead of reacting. So sometimes awakening of divine feminine wisdom, sometimes there might be a perception that it just means having wild, chaotic emotions that are uncontrollable. And this doesn't mean you cannot, a part of, yes, reclaiming feminine energy is this a wild, erotic, freedom of emotional expression. But it's also about profound emotional integration. It's about being able to allow emotions to move fully through you, and to respond from a place of truth and power and sovereignty. This allows you to have such a solid foundation when leading your mission, because our power would be so depleted if we reacted to everyone and everything that either agreed or didn't agree with our life's mission. And the more you honor your life's mission, the more magnetic you become, the more responses you're going to get to it, whether they like it or not. And it is so important that you're able to respond from a place of integrity and truth and leadership in your divine mission. And this is inevitably what happens as we start to lead. And so awakening divine feminine energy is about this leadership and responsibility. And we have this anchored understanding of what it means to be solid in our truth, to feel safe in our relationship with the divine, to be in our sovereignty and our power, really supported through our inner masculine energetics. Then we can allow that creative passion, the desire, the emotions, the excitement, the beauty, the fulfillment and joy to move through us, for us to really step into our divine mission. Jess, you said I can so relate to this. Actually, in a current moment situation that I just went through, what you said, feeling like I'm on the other side. That's amazing. I just thought I made up that scenario a little bit. So I love that it related. Okay. So just wrapping up here. So in order to create a strong foundation for your life, so just some last things to speak on about this moving forward. To create a really strong foundation through your life, your mission, it's about understanding the dynamics of your power. Where are you giving your power away? Where are you giving it away because you're seeking to be likable, to be validated, to be valued, to be understood, to be given permission to speak, to take up space? Like, where are you waiting for someone else? Instead, you are the one that you're waiting for. You choose. That is sovereignty. You choose. You choose to believe. You choose to trust. You choose to lead. And it's just your choice now. Okay. So, another aspect of this is to really start cultivating the divine feminine power and presence through tuning into your desires. It's just feel your womb, your heart. What do I desire? And can you trust that that is enough? I wouldn't say can you. You choose to. You choose to say, I trust this is enough. This is moving through me for a reason. I hold the power to create anything from nothing. This is coming through me for a reason, and I choose to believe in it. Okay. No one else can choose it for you. Because the only way that you can lead through a solid foundation and sovereignty is when you choose your path. When you say, this is mine. And it's mine because it's moving through me, and it's mine because I desire it. But when it really serves you, when it really chooses you, when you really awaken to your power, it serves everyone, because you become a frequency of light, of power, of joy, of fulfillment. So, okay. So if you're wanting after this conversation and you're feeling like you want to learn more about what your divine mission is, start cultivating more of this understanding of your desires through work, like really strengthening your divine feminine wisdom, embodying this sense of power and sovereignty, understanding more of what your soul gifts are. I'm actually going to be doing a whole discussion on soul gifts. There's so much more that downloaded on what this means. So that's going to be coming in a week or two, probably 2 weeks. I really invite you to, if this is something you're wanting to cultivate, step into, to create more of this sovereignty and solid foundation for your divine mission, I invite you into Sovereign Priestess Activation. So I'm going to take some time now to answer any questions about this and just share some more details about this mentorship if you feel complete with this call. It was such an honor to share this with you, to be in this sacred space with you. I love you, and have a beautiful evening. If you'd like to stay on the call, and I'm going to share some more details about Sovereign Priestess Activation, a 6-month mentorship, which begins on the equinox, a little bit after, the week of the 23rd, to be exact. All right, so I'm going to dive in. Okay. So the Sovereign Priestess Activation mentorship. First I want to just kind of break down the name. Okay, sovereignty, that of course we spoke deeply about. You're welcome, Eva. I'll see you soon. So sovereignty is really about, it's reclaiming your power on the deepest level possible, meaning knowing yourself is completely safe and one with the divine. Nothing and no one ever has power of you, and therefore you are not living your life based on anyone else's perspectives, perceptions, desires, and wants of you. You live off what you know to be true for you. This makes you unstoppable. We need people like this to really believe in their mission. It's so important to trust in yourself, believe in yourself. And this is why Sovereign Priestess Activation, I'm so passionate about it, because I believe in more women activated in their power. I believe in so many women who have reclaimed their power, their gifts, their light, their magic, who are abundant and wealthy. They're sharing money and resources wherever they want to, that actually provides wealth to others, that lights up the community, that's creating health systems, school systems that are actually supportive for the well-being of all. I see women healing the earth. Like, money in your hands is so important. Power in your body is so important. Your gifts, your magic, like, you came here for a reason. I see it, I feel it, I know it. And you get to see it too. You get to claim this for you. And I think it's so easy. It's so easy for us to become numb to our divine mission. It's so easy to say, next year, or it's not that important. There's already somebody else doing it. But we need, like, if you feel this, and I know you do because you're here on this call, and so I spoke, this is for women who feel this call to lead themselves, to really be in their power, in their light. They feel this deep desire, this passion, this magnetism running through their veins, this message that wants to be spoken, this creation that wants to come through. There's a reason for that, because it's meaningful and supportive, not just for you, but for others. There's a reason the divine is speaking through you. And it's so important that you believe in that for yourself. Not only to create a service and divine support for others, but to create a life of joy and love and fulfillment. And as women, we think that's selfish. As women, if we're stuck in lack mentality, we're going to say, how can I have more if others have less? But this is false. This is a false paradigm that needs to be completely crumbled. Because how can we create a world of wealth, of joy, of abundance, prosperity, freedom if we don't feel it and experience it in our own life? It won't happen. If you truly vision the world as living in harmony and light and love and joy and prosperity, you need to crack the codes yourself. We have to completely diminish the idea that it's selfish to want, to desire, to experience joy, happiness, fulfillment, love. The only way this is going to happen globally is if it happens first within you. We need to crack the codes within us. And this is why I've created Sovereign Priestess Activation and what we're going to be doing over the next 6 months. So if there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Time dedication scares my expenses. All right. Yes. So I will I can send you a DM after this and we can talk more about it. And so for those who are interested, let me just put in the comments, if you want to read more about it, all of the details are here in Sovereign Priestess. And I will put this in the follow-up email as well. So yeah, it's a dedication of time. It's a dedication because it's a dedication to your life. It's a complete dedication to changing the paradigm you're living in, the habits you've been living in, what you believe is possible for you. So it is complete, like most definitely a dedication of time and resources and awareness and focus. But if it's meaningful to you, we choose these things for ourselves if it's meaningful to you. So you'll know that in your body and your heart. So I think, I'll put the link here if anybody wants to learn more about it. But basically this journey, we go through a 6-month span of divine feminine awakening. We focus on the divine feminine chakra centers, the sacral, the heart, and the third eye. And then we also bring in the embodiment of the throat, which is the divine masculine aspect. We spend an entire month with each of these divine feminine centers, the divine masculine center as well. And then by the end of the mentorship, because you've embodied so much of your divine feminine wisdom, you start allowing that essence to bloom. Your desires, who you are, your connection to the divine, the trust in yourself and your mission. And you start learning how to voice it, to speak it, to express it from a place of solid foundation, sovereignty in yourself. And we're also working with divine feminine ascended masters and divine masculine ascended masters. So we have a whole divine support system as you deepen into connection with them to support you in this journey. All of my mentorships are both woven together with wisdom transmissions and profound deep healings and ceremonial experiences, multidimensional ceremonial experiences. So as we get deeper into the journey, the end of it, we have an entire month just spent on your divine mission, how to actualize it in this life. What does that look like? Who are you serving? We talk about wealth and abundance, money, go deep into this wealth consciousness. And then we complete with these powerful priestess activations. And so a priestess is someone who serves the highest, really serves the spiritual needs of the community. So what does that mean for you? It's basically how you decide to serve the community, your clients, the world through your divine gifts, wanting to awaken the light, the love, the harmony, the peace on the earth. And I trust that the women that comes into these spaces, into these classes, these master classes, whatever, like have this deep desire to want to serve. So I just wanted to be really clear on what priestess means. It means there is a deep desire. This is the core of the passion. It's the archetype of choosing within your soul, of choosing to embody, to incarnate on earth and serve, to be a channel of light, to be a channel of love, of harmony and love through your divine gifts, through how it is you want to serve on this earth. So this is such a powerful journey, and there's so much more I could say about this, but I put the link here so you can learn more about it. How the process works is you just set up an application, finish the application. Once you complete the application, if the application is approved, you'll get an email with me with information about how to sign up and an option to schedule a 30-minute call if you have more questions and want to discuss before you call. Now, right now, the Sovereign Priestess Activation is in an early bird pricing. So it is only, it is going to be $1,111 off until September 7th. So this pricing, price point again is only available for about 1 week. So go ahead, and more details about the pricing are in the application. So you can find all of that in there. So just go ahead, click on the link, go through the application, and also send me a message if you have any questions. This journey starts in about 3 weeks and it goes till the next equinox. It's such a powerful journey because you get to go through, we usually have, when we do mentorships and programs and journeys, if you've done them before, sometimes we can have these shorter mentorships and you can get really excited about it. And it can be like all about the experience for a month, for 2 months, or even like 3 months. We can hold that container of excitement. When we go through a journey for about 6 months, you're going to go through these highs and lows of life. And you get to be held in this powerful container of healing and transformation. You get to both learn, integrate, embody, and practice everything you're learning in real time so that you really step through this mentorship actually being able to apply everything we've learned into your life in a way that makes sense to you, in a way that supports you for years to come. It's such a powerful journey. I'm so passionate about this experience, and I cannot wait for this next journey with the women that I'll be journeying with. So again, if you would like, click the link, learn more about it. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah.